Evolve your ride. Evolve your experience.
Think a quality golf cart is out of your budget? Think again. At the Golf Cart People, we have a fantastic selection of fully inspected, pre-owned carts starting at just $4,500. Choose from gas, electric, or lithium-ion power to fit your lifestyle. And the best part, every used cart comes with a 1-year warranty for total peace of mind. Why wait? Get the cart you've always wanted today. Visit the Golf Cart People. Find out more at golfcartpeople.com.
First pitches, kickoffs, tip-offs. When the game is on, you call the shots. Whether it's a parlay after working all day or a straight bet and straight to bed, Betway has what it takes for you to bet the Edmonton way. So when it's your turn to play the Edmonton way with Betway. Play responsibly. Alberta only. 18+.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply.
He knows all about the Expos and Oilers. It's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Hurry in for hot summer savings, including 0% purchase financing on select models. 0%. Details at wolfgmcbuick.com. On the show today, Kevin Gausman may have pitched his final home game as a Toronto Blue Jay last night. If it was his final home start, the Jays will say goodbye to one of their best signings of the century in the next few days. Ideally, you find a way to get him signed and look forward to next year with him. He's going downhill a little bit, eroding a little bit, but he's still a wonderful, wonderful starter. We're brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. We're on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Also live on iHeartRadio, Radio Player Canada, and sports1440.ca. Our headliner of the day is Kevin McCurdy coming up at 1 o'clock this afternoon. We do have declinations at 1:40. After the show, we tweeted out on X. We also have it at Apple and Spotify podcast. And we're on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, and JFenwick04. Today, we're talking Gausman, the Elks NFL Hall of Fame game, not that far away, and a little bit about fantasy football. I got two characters who play, and we want to know exactly what their strategy is and who the breakout players are. So we'll talk about that as well. Right now, though, it's time for the introductions. If he worked in the trades, it would be the service industry. He'd tend bar, and then he could go upstairs for a meal at a nice restaurant after a few brews, kind of like Cheers. I see it as being Cheers. Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick, everybody.
I wouldn't exactly consider the service industry as the trades.
Well, it's defined in that area, though.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Well,
it's okay though, but I can't see you with a hammer, on the railway. I just don't see you there. I see you maybe tending bar, cracking some jokes, and then sending everybody, just like Sam.
My apologies to all of our listeners who are blue collar workers and are offended by the fact that I would be in the trades as a bartender.
I feel like
I believe you. Actually, this is a real thing that I did. I was a bartender for a long time. I would go back to it.
Can you pick up a sledgehammer and hit it over your head and like hard enough to move a spike?
Definitely.
Okay. Well, I still say bartender.
Yeah, hey, that's fair enough.
Right.
I couldn't do the sledgehammer thing a lot of times in a row.
If he worked in the trades, he'd be a carpenter. Measure twice, cut once, never a half bubble off plumb, everything accurate. There'd be nothing wrong with the house he built. It would be perfect in every way. Maybe it would be a little bit biased. I don't know how much, but maybe a little. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger, everybody.
So here's the thing. I know this isn't a great start for me because we're 4 minutes in. I kind of zoned out on what you were saying because I was preparing. I wanted to tell some of the listeners, anyone who listens on podcasts or missed the show yesterday, whatever, might have noticed it's not there. That is because our logger system was corrupted during the duration of this show.
Yeah.
So just wanted to let everyone know that's why.
Okay.
I think you said something about I would be a builder.
No, I think you could be like a carpenter, you know.
I like that a lot.
Right.
I like that a lot. I'll take it.
Because I think you are like you would be of the group of us here talking. I think you're the guy who would measure twice before you cut.
How many things have you built?
I really agree with the measure. I would be the one to measure twice. Now, to Josh's point, I don't have the best Rolodex under my belt, but that's not what this intro is about.
But you chose a different career path. But I think you could have done that.
I always loved the idea. I don't think this was ever actually something I was going to do, but I always loved the idea of being a small town mechanic in like a lakeside town.
I see. Yeah.
I think that'd be cool.
I saw several episodes of the Rockford Files that involved that. I always wanted to be in radio. Did you know that? I was 13 and I wanted to be in radio.
I mean,
you
I
had
guess
this
was really
voice
like the thing.
You had this voice at 13. That's why.
No, I the worst voice. I had an uncle who read news at a Vancouver radio station, and I toured his facility, and that was it. I just thought I met the DJ there. He had long hair. He's a complete hippie. My dad would have hated him, and so I liked that. I said, "That's what I want to be." That guy would drive my dad crazy. I want to be that.
So you wanted to be in like top 40 then?
Well, I didn't really matter. The station I went to was country, and you got to understand, I grew up with country music more than I did with rock or pop.
Right. So I worded it. I just meant you wanted to be in like an FM format. Like that was the.
No, never cared about that. Always cared about. It's funny because the most fun I ever had was working country music. Easily the most fun, and so if I were ever going to go back to music, it would be country because the fans of country music are the sweetest people, and the artists who get played on country music thank the radio station. They're the only artists who do that. So if you kids out there, if you're thinking of getting into radio, either make it sports radio or country music. It is a blast. It totally is. All right, enough of this. I want to talk about when is the Hall of Fame game, because you guys are. Like, you can't wait for football. You can pretend you're waiting for something else, but it's football that you want. And I think it's like 2 weeks away.
I'm pretty sure it's sometime next week.
It's not that far away.
It's
like
really
11 days
I'm
away?
pretty sure it's at the end of July. Let me just double check this. 2 weeks away.
That's what I said.
August 6th.
Okay.
2026.
So, here's my thing. This is the time of year. I mean, I don't know a thing about fantasy football, but I know that guys start becoming fantasy football superstars now because they've got a job or they've got a good shot at a job. And if they get that job, they're going to be a superstar, runner or receiver or quarterback or whatever the case may be. Who are the early burgeoning names that maybe we didn't know about a year ago who are going to do something now and everybody's excited about them?
Like, are you talking about rookies
or guys who were like, backups last year but have slid into, or they've got enough experience? The one NFL team that doesn't push their quarterbacks is sliding that guy in now. Who are the superstars that people are talking about?
I got a name I think is going to pop.
Okay.
Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
I think Jalen Waddle's going to have a good year.
I
think like him and Cortland Sutton are so different. But I think he is going to become, I just think his style fits a little bit better with Bo Nix's capabilities throwing the football. So I think he is going to emerge as the number one target there. And I'm thinking 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns.
Don't you think that a guy like Waddle would do better in the CFL with the waggle?
No, I think he's doing okay where he is.
Are you sure? I'd call him.
Listen, if a CFL team wants to sign him, that's appointment viewing.
Well, I'm just saying.
But I think he's pretty good at the whole football thing. So
speaking of pretty good at the whole football team, Elks had their. I noticed their. The roster is out. A little bit of a shakeup or tweak at the offensive line position. That's always a concern. But it looks like most of the team is ready to roll, and what I think will be the biggest game of the year so far as they play in Regina tomorrow night.
Definitely the biggest game of the season. This next 3-game stretch is really huge for them. And like you look at what they're doing, there's a lot I can get into with this depth chart, but you look at that offensive line specifically. You have a guy who was a 16-game starter there, like played, multiple years at right tackle, gets demoted to the 8th or 9th lineman this year.
God.
And then they say, hey, by the way, man, go play left guard for us. So you obviously have the O'Donnell injury, which is where, like Brett Boyko fills in here. You have Colterwood Manzi, who's been out. You have David Beard, who is out. Like that offensive line. Now you're very lucky to have Cam Carter come in, play the way he plays, and Mark Corte is a security blanket at center. But it's like there can be no hums or haws about the fact it's far removed from that week 1 offensive line when we were talking about it being the most talented line in the CFL.
I do have a question for you on this. When we're starting to get low at this point in the year on linemen, I mean, I've seen it. I have seen it, Declan, where they're loading, flights into town from, somewhere in the South, like Miami. They're having, camps, and they're bringing guys in, and they're bringing a bunch of guys who played linemen somewhere because you're running out of guys. We're not there yet, right?
No, well, but they have added a few to their practice squad recently too. Okay. I think I'd have to go back and double check
because you need that, right? Like you got to have bodies.
You do. I think, like, I always think it's different in the CFL. You got to adjust 44. I would always have 3 backup linemen.
Yeah.
Eddie Steele's talked about it. There were games where linemen went down and he had to go play right guard.
God, really?
Right? Yeah, as a defensive tackle. So, and like,
how much was he outweighed by then? Like that would have been a lot, right?
He always talked about actually liking the position a lot. He would have been like,
he's an athlete.
By the rest of his linemen, he would have been outlaid shortly. But I just think you always, especially with the injuries you've had, and now you have guys who are like, they're not exactly in fresh game shape, maybe a little bit rustier because they've only been practicing, no game action. They got to come in. Like, I'm dressing 3 backup offensive linemen, and I'm figuring it out on special teams some other way.
That seems to me to be the right thing here. Jana, longtime listener, Declan LT was on a top 40 station, CKCK in Regina in the 80s.
I know. Yeah. I remember.
No, you don't. But I worked with
unlike you, I don't forget.
I worked with your auntie, who was a brilliant everything. She's a promotions person, got into sales. In fact, I think she probably, within the radio industry, is the most famous Krueger we know.
Oh, well, I mean, it's like she doesn't have much competition. So
you'll get probably there. You'll get there. I'm just poking at you there a little bit.
ESPN needs a spot filled with Ryan Clark gone.
I have no idea. Like I worked with Ron McLean. I've worked with really talented people who've gone a long, long way. And I have no idea where you guys are going, but you're very talented, all of you. So I guess it depends on, opportunity, but how high you want to fly, right? I mean, at this point, if you were to move to LA, you could probably get a job there if you had a green card.
Yeah.
I
don't want one of those.
All right. What? Why not?
I'll hop it illegally.
I don't understand Gord Oil's question. I don't understand. Gordon, can you resend that? Because I don't get that.
And just make it better and more concise and make more sense, please.
That's what Donovan does in a less, a more forward way. But that was well done by you.
No, I think I can decipher this because you had said
this is very easy to decipher.
Yeah. Okay, well then I'm just out on.
It's which one of us would say, "Oh, damn, we cut the board too short."
Because you had said that I would be the one to
Okay, I was thinking radio board. Well, I'd be happy if I didn't cut a finger off. Are we using a skill saw? What are we doing?
Yeah, sure, skill saw.
Okay, so I'd probably have the measurement fairly close. But my dad built an entire house in Wannock, BC that the tilted. So, maybe it's genetic. Do you think right now, it's what day are we at? July
22nd.
July 22nd.
And boy, does it feel like it.
Do you think that the Robertson signing was the last big thing we'll get? I mean, there's the Jet Greaves thing, but that'll be done soon, Thursday, I think.
Yeah, it's done tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or it starts tomorrow.
Because it feels like everybody's at the cottage.
His case, oh yeah, everyone's at the cottage. Jack Greaves' case is a bit tougher than a guy like Tariq Skubals, who went to arbitration last year and walked in with his 2 Cy Young awards.
Yeah, that would be tough.
Got paid whatever he wanted. It's a bit tougher for Jet Greaves to go, well, I deserve what Dustin Wolf was getting in Calgary.
If you're the Detroit Tigers, do you trade Skubal?
I mean, like, if I'm the Detroit Tigers, I'm probably not wanting to pay him. So, yeah, I guess so. Get what you can for him.
But then why are you in the business of baseball if you don't want to pay the best, the guy who is, probably, if not the best, one of the 2 or 3 best?
I tend to think that way as well.
Yeah,
Like, what are you trying to do?
I agree with you guys. I'm not gonna sit here and hold water for the Tigers, who aren't gonna pay the best pitcher in baseball.
It's just a crime. Detroit Tiger fans are among the most loyal, and like they know what this is. This is we don't want to compete at the high end.
It's that the owner owns the team for what's the word I'm looking for? It's an investment.
Yeah.
He's there to make his money back for what he bought the Tigers for, even though I'm sure he's made it back already. So it's just, I'm using it and let's hike up beer prices a little bit. And let's keep drafting well and we'll give him hope. But then I really don't want to pay Tariq Skubal the $240 million that we're going to have to owe him over his 6 years.
It's so weird. It's like this is what sports is now. You buy a team for $90 million, you sit on it for 15 years, and you sell it for $2.2 billion.
Yeah.
And that's a hell of an investment.
I mean, when you really think about it, it's like the guy. So Mark Cuban, I think, is a great example of this because this is a guy who really cared about his team.
Mm-hmm.
I forget
too much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they won a
championship.
Yeah, that's the word. NBA championship. I was about to say World Series, and I knew that wasn't right. But he loved the Mavericks, and he bought them for $200 million or something like that, $250 million. And I forget the reason that he sold. I can't remember the reason right now, but he sold the team for $3 billion. Hell yeah, that's a great return on investment. And then watch his baby, essentially, that he only sold a majority stake in. I don't think he sold the whole team. But they trade Luka away and all these things. He was trying to buy them back basically after. He's like, oh, you guys have bamboozled this whole situation. I've made a mistake.
The price tag of the Oilers for Daryl Katz was $200 million reportedly at the time.
It's not bad.
It's coming up on 20 years. What could he get for them now?
I forget what the valuation was at. We were just I don't know if it was us that was looking at it, but he'd probably end up getting. Is Connor McDavid still on the team?
Yeah.
All right. So if he sold him tomorrow, I'd say probably $6.2 billion.
I think that's a little high. I was going to say 5.
Okay, let's say 5. So you go from 200 mil to $5 billion. There's not a human alive who's going to go, hey, you know what? That was a bad investment. That was a brilliant investment.
They're only valued at 3.2, so maybe 4.5.
Did we say they're only valued at 3.2 billion out loud?
Well, but that's just because we were throwing out 6s and 5s.
Okay. All right.
Obviously, hey, $3.2 billion, a lot of money.
But if you have something worth 3.2 billion, can you get more for it based on potential earnings?
Oh yeah. That price wouldn't be 3.2 billion. They'd pay a markup.
Okay. We got to get
That's why I think it'd be around 4.
We got to get into the franchise owning business, guys.
So there's a Instagram account or something like that. I forget what it's called, but
that's kind of my job here.
They're well, let's buy the Pirates. Let's save Paul Skeens. I think the guy that owns the account is a Pirates fan, but is really all in on it. Okay, guys, if every follower contributes X amount of dollars, we can buy the Pirates. But obviously, the more people that follow the account and are willing to contribute, we'll buy the Pirates. Mark Cuban started following the account. So I think now it's up to, if everyone chipped in, and this is American, $3,500 American,
Right.
they could own the Pittsburgh Pirates.
How many do they have to go?
I mean, like $3,500 American. Honestly, doesn't sound that bad.
No, but like how many have committed to it?
I think that's like 213,000 followers.
Wow.
It's probably just a big internet joke. Let's be honest here. But if that's what happened, like if just an Instagram account of people that were like, we have to save Paul Skeens and the Pirates, bought the Pittsburgh Pirates, that's awesome.
Wasn't buying Twitter once an internet joke?
That it was.
So you never know.
It was.
You never know.
Do you guys know what the Edmonton Oilers' operating income was this past season, or is?
Oh, this is a gargantuan number.
Yeah, because I'm going to give you theirs, and then I'm going to give you the last team in the NHL.
Okay.
Do you guys want to know what theirs is?
I'd say it again.
How do I calculate operating income?
It's like it's a set. What is the exact formula? Let me look it up because there is an exact. Yeah, so COGS minus operating expenses minus depreciation.
Right.
So COGS being cost of goods sold. Theirs is $244 million, number one in the NHL. Toronto, they're second at $191 million. The last place team in the NHL is Buffalo. Now, as you may remember me saying, Edmonton was at $244 million.
Yeah.
Buffalo, $11 million.
Wow. That's not even. And people say Edmonton's a small market team. Yeah. You know what? That $244 million would be $244.7 million if the media brought their own damn food.
Oh, well.
Wow.
That's too bad.
I'm blown away by these. Like Buffalo's revenue was still $175 million, and they're up. Like it's only $11 million.
Yeah,
that's
but
insane.
I'm sorry, but are they well run?
No.
Mm-mm.
And their owner really kind of only cares about the Bills as well.
Well, they weren't well run for about half of this season.
And then they were.
Kevin Adams got fired.
Yeah.
And then the team just like turned it around. Literally nothing else happened.
That's why the person at the big job is important, and that is the big job in hockey. All right. On the way, Kevin McCurdy will join us at 1. What have you got on declinations today, sir?
Well, it's Wednesday, so Duncan with Declan. We'll probably start shifting the segment pretty soon here, where Wednesday will become Declan CFL and Thursday will become Declan CAA.
Why don't we wait until LeBron signs?
Yeah, no, it won't be yet. Just because I think for the listener base, me talking about college football in July, probably not a great selling point for the program.
But there's already I saw an article about
like
the best new quarterbacks coming into college. I read that on the
Athletic.
It's interesting stuff.
No, it really is. But we'll talk a little ball. I don't even know what there's to talk about. We'll probably just end up talking about Kareem and Moses. But
oh God, I love that.
We'll figure it out.
The Moses talk is just golden. And we have rumors on the way next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you.
What's 426 divided by 12? Okay, if I carry the one, yeah, we're out. Go Auto has a free credit calculator that does the math for you. See what you could qualify for, estimate your payments, and get a better idea of what's in your budget. Because shopping for a vehicle is exciting, but crunching numbers, yeah, not so much. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all sevens.
Experience the home ice advantage with your window coverings. Novo Blinds provides factory direct pricing and fast turnaround on roller, zebra, blackout, drapery, and motorized blinds. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca.
It's dollar drink summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
The Riverhawks' final regular season homestand is on deck this week. Catch the bobblehead giveaway, a 2K dance party, Margaritaville, and Wizards, Wands, and Magic Night. Don't miss the party. Tickets at gohawks.ca.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. visioncu.ca.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Lux Windows was founded in 1969 with 5 people and a dream. 55 years later, our team of experts cares a whole lot about building and installing the best possible windows and doors. Because Lux is not just an Alberta-made product. We're one big Alberta-made family. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
I finished a 5K in 94th place, right after a man wearing jeans. Then a volunteer gave me a medal. But I don't want participation trophies, unless they're from Bet365. With their daily prize matcher game, I win by matching gold coins, cherries, and more. Take that, denim man. Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus only. T's and C's apply.
Off of the ground. Just love the ground.
Oh, wait.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
$12:26. This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out at wolfgmcbuick.com. That's 2 Roxanne songs I've heard in my life. And I've only met one Roxanne. Have you ever met a Roxanne?
Yeah, one of my buddy's wife.
Yeah.
Named Roxanne.
It's a fairly popular name, but a little bit unusual all the same.
It's a hot girl name for sure.
All right.
Do you have a lot of married friends?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I wouldn't say a lot, but like definitely.
The slide line is, did they have kids?
No. A couple pregnancies though.
What I'm saying is that and I'm not trying to. Everybody loves everybody, but when you have kids, a lot of your friends who are married don't have kids. It's hard to make that work as friends because when you have kids, your next door neighbors become your friends because they also got kids. So you end up hanging with them. Their beer tastes just as good as your friends. That's what happens in life. It's okay. Doesn't mean you don't love people and still get together. It's just a different gig. All right. It is time for Rumors, brought to you by Harley-Davidson of Edmonton. It's riding season, and Harley-Davidson of Edmonton has your next bike waiting. Huge selection of new and pre-owned, plus test rides available. Locally owned and operated since 1980 on the Yellowhead Trail or hdedmonton.com. The big story in the NHL, Dallas signs Jason Robertson to a 1-year deal. Robertson is a brilliant player. There's 2 ways this could go. First, they could, trade him because he's going right to free agency. They could trade him at the deadline, or I guess, before free agency to a team that's, going to sign him. But they could also sign Robertson, I believe, after January 1 to a long-term contract themselves. And that might fit Dallas better. I'm correct in saying that he wants to stay in Dallas, right? That is his wish. They just couldn't come anywhere close on the dollars.
Yes.
And now with all the contracts that have been signed for Leo and others, then maybe his wishes are more realistic. Or is Dallas just going to be, grumpy about it?
Well, I don't know. Like, didn't they kind of have the opportunity to make it work for both parties seemingly with some term and AAV and like?
But the world's changed, right? Like they didn't anticipate. Like, it's a lot of NHL teams are. The Edmonton Oilers lost 2 players on offer sheet. Anaheim just did.
Yeah, but like I mean, you can't use offer sheets, though, in arbitration.
No, I understand that. But still, the world as we know it has ended for the Dallas Stars money counters.
Yeah, listen, I think he should have got more than 12.
Yeah, I think this is a 1-year deal, and, they might trade him. They might sign him. I think it's all in the open. I'm not saying he's going to leave now because I think he wanted to stay in Dallas. And maybe the Stars have looked at the new world order and realized that, you know, the people who are going to pay for this are the guys who are 30 years old and they're coming up on a contract and they're not super duper stars. You know, we talked about before free agency this year, there's not a lot of names out there, not a lot of big names. The big names will always get paid if they reach free agency. But that middle ground there, and the Oilers have them, Trent Frederick would be an example. There's no way they're going to make those kinds of dollars. And teams aren't going to sign them. They're just not, they can't because they got to sign their younger players earlier. And believe me, the offer sheet is the sphincter tightener of the NHL general managers community. It just is. When they all meet at these 7 or 8 little cottage communities that they meet at, the entire NHL's either in Kelowna or somewhere in Ontario, they're all meeting and they're all talking. And one of the subjects is what's going on with the offer sheets in Anaheim. And this is it. You know, it kind of was, you know, starting in the Broberg Holloway situation. But these dual offer sheets against Anaheim, man, it changes the world. It really does. How many people do Anaheim have to sign yet?
Well, there's just really the one big one, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think they have to make a move before they do it.
Yeah, like they got to do something about that defense group. They got to move some money out, possibly Chris Kreider, Troy Terry. It's a tough one, man.
That is.
How much do you pay him? Like, here's the other thing. Like,
yeah, he's not going to go for nothing.
Well, and my thing is, like, I think we would all agree, although Cutter Gauthier just had an unbelievable year, 40 tucks. I think we all think Jason Robertson is a better winger than he is. Do we not? Do we agree? Do we not?
I think for next
I'd probably agree.
Right.
For next year, yeah.
And my thing is, like, and it's obviously a much, much different situation. He's young and he's probably going to grow into the contract and be part of the future with Karlsson versus a guy who's maybe like already being planned to have a, you know, sign and trade come next offseason or move to the deadline, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, with what Jason Robertson just got, I think Jason Robertson's better. But then you look at what Leo Karlsson got, and it's like, do you have to give Cutter Gauthier $15 million somehow?
Well, it's what will, you know, Cutter's already had an interesting contractual history. You know, his career is, you know, interesting. So maybe he's the guy who's going to, you know, force the issue.
Well, I mean, he said he wasn't taking anything less than what, 15, or did he say 18 also?
I can't remember. I know that it was a quote.
But I know it's in that range. Matt, Cutter's gone. Just trade him. Cut him loose. I don't think you can warrant that. I think you'd rather ride it out with Jackson Lacombe and hope that you can hit another winger. Like, you have Beckett Seneca.
Yeah.
He can
well, they can also trade Cutter for a lesser expensive winger who sort of does the same thing. You know?
Absolutely. Maybe not 40 tucks, but that's what you sort of hope Beckett Seneca will blossom into. And if his rookie season was anything to...
How many tucks did Alex Tuck have this year? And how many
30...
tucks could he tuck if he lived in a tuck?
Okay. But I think Alex Tuck had like 38 or something. Or did he cross the 40 mark?
I don't remember. Triple C in a truck. It was my Auntie Roxanne's birthday yesterday. There you go. 6 degrees of Roxanne.
He had 33 last year.
Okay.
Alex Tuck.
Ken says, hey guys, Buffalo op expenses. That's just called creative accounting. I think most of us feel that way.
Do they use the Kelevin in Buffalo?
No.
That's just a joke for my Office fans out there.
Team Dean, Jet Greaves should get more than Wolf. He's a better goalie.
Yeah, so you're crazy.
They're close though. I will say. I would take Dustin Wolf as well, but like Jet Greaves is a heck of a young goaltender.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I don't want to crap on Jet Greaves, and I don't want to sound like a homer because like it's my goalie or anything. But I'm gonna have to go ahead and push back there and say Jet Greaves is a better goalie, and I don't know if it's particularly close. I mean, his AHL number, his AHL career.
Are you the unbiased one on this show? I don't think you are.
No, but like Dustin Wolf lit it up in the AHL, and then once again, I'm gonna ride that Woodley train all the way home. Like the worst defensive environment for any goaltender was Calgary last year after the trade deadline.
Well, one thing they can't do in Calgary is let go of that coach. Not the goalie Rolly says, at 16, I met a cool FM DJ live remoting on top of the Space Needle in Seattle. Strawberry Letter 23 was the summer jam. What a great song. I was hooked, but I ended up picking urban planning over radio and TV programming, Nate. Dream over, but I think he ended up with less moving and a better pension. I can tell you, you absolutely did. You absolutely did. And you should have no regrets. And I have no regrets. I've enjoyed every minute of it. And now I am so thankful every day when I come in and the key works and I go, another day. Those emails from Declan to the boss are either they're not getting read or being ignored. Just another few weeks. That's all I need. Did Anaheim have a new offer sheet or what am I missing, Buds Nation? Well, they had the big offer sheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they had to rework or sign the defenseman. And so there's two.
Yeah, that's right. They had Minchikov. That offer sheet.
And, that's the way to do it. That's the St. Louis Blues figured that out and they did it very well. Lowetide of Trent Frederick can give us 8 to 10 goals. Tucks, as the cool kids say. Yeah, I picked up on that. I mean, the lingo these young people bring in. 20 assists, apples, as the cool kids say, and be a plus player. His contract is golden or sick. Nails, as the cool kids say. Well, Billy, you got the cool kid lingo down, and I agree with you. I'm a fan of Trent Frederick. I've been all down the line. He picked up his speed at the end of the year. But if he scores 10 goals and 30 points or 12 and 30 or whatever, and is on an outscoring line, then I think that money is well spent. The problem is it's long, right? And there will be years that aren't productive. But I was a Frederick fan, man, when he was in Boston, and I watch a lot of Bruins games. And the frustrating thing is he plays a style Oiler fans will love. He just has to get to the puck, and he just couldn't do it a year ago. And one hopes that he'll be able to do it this year. Do you guys think that Evander Kane is going to sign somewhere for next year, Dave? I don't know. There's a lot of, verbal about Evander Kane out there. And unfortunately for him, injuries have really, as they often do with power forwards, agitating forwards like Kane, they often, curtail the length of a career. And remember when he arrived here from San Jose and he was a pure first shot scorer. Take away everything else that he did. Hammering Matt Tkachuk into a turtle shape. He could score. He could beat a goalie clean. And then that injury, the Maroon injury, it just sent him in a direction that wasn't good. And it happens, we saw it with Lucic. The time to have a power forward like that is from like 23 to 28, or what the Bruins did. And after that, you are dealing in borrowed time, because when the wall hits those players, it really hits those players. And that's what happened. Is there anything we haven't discussed yet that we should have discussed on this radio program already through the first 40 minutes, because we are a sports station?
Not really, but I was just thinking, like, Evander, he might be in PTO territory.
Yeah. Like, if he wants to do it, then yeah. Then it just becomes, will he accept the role, right? Or he could always do what Yager did, buy a team in Europe and play for them until you're 50.
Well, that would be ideal now, wouldn't it?
It's kind of always been my dream, personally.
Guys want to play. I mean, it's fun. You play rec hockey, right?
No. I don't think I've owned a pair of skates in years.
So if you wanted to go, if your girlfriend says, hey, let's go to the mall and skate, you'd have to rent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually got to sell my skates. They're like a size too big for me.
Oh, so they're size 6 then.
Different ones. Yeah, 5.5. Actually, it's terrible. It's like I'm wearing a poncho on my feet. But what size are your feet, Josh?
10 to 10.5.
Yeah, these would be a size big on you too, probably.
Oh well.
Well, the dream is over here.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this fantasy football stuff.
Maybe it's time for you to get into it, Tide.
No, I don't want to do it. But I want to pick your guys' brains.
It's the best type of fantasy sports.
I don't think it is.
No, it is.
I don't.
For those of us that don't like doing math in our free time, then yes, it is actually, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, but you got to set your roster, and as soon as you set your roster, some damn coach says, "Oh yeah, he's inactive."
No, it's way worse setting your roster in baseball. Way worse. Everyone's thrown on the IL every 15 minutes. There's 162 games. Like the NFL, you set your lineup on Saturday or Wednesday night for the Thursday night game, and you're done. And it's once a week. It's the easiest of all the fantasy sports.
Because at that point, injuries have to be reported.
Yes.
You're telling me that they've gotten rid of the
and you don't
he
have
sprained an ankle on the field this morning. He won't play.
Well, they don't really do like warm-ups like that. I mean, obviously, like they go out and warm up.
You're telling me in the history of football in the last 15 years in the NFL, not one player has gotten hurt on Sunday morning before the Sunday afternoon game.
Like maybe once in 15 years, but like that would probably be close to the appropriate number. Like it doesn't happen a lot.
The
You have to have it
exception, not
reported.
the
Yeah.
rule.
Like you have to have it reported by league rules.
Why can't the NHL do this?
Why can't the NHL do what?
Report injuries accurately.
Because it's the NHL. Like it's
Yeah.
totally different.
The NFL doesn't compete with the NHL, MLB, and NBA. They compete with Google. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, the NFL is a whole different. Let's talk about the estimated values of the NFL teams while we're at it. Okay, on the way, more of your comments. I'm going to get into this NFL fantasy stuff because those guys, those jack-o'-lanterns who come on before us on Fantasy Frenzy,
It's
they can't
just the frenzy now.
What?
It's just the frenzy. It's not fantasy frenzy anymore.
Well, I'm calling it Fantasy Frenzy because that's how I knew it.
Okay, but that's just wrong.
It's like the first Boston album.
The show's dead. It doesn't exist anymore. It's Fugazi, it's Fugazi, it's Awazi, it's Awuzi. It doesn't exist. It's not
This
real.
is what I'm dealing with. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Are you a skilled laborer? All Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience? All Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All Star Construction on Indeed.
It's cone season at McDonald's, which means vanilla cones are $1 each plus tax in the McDonald's app all summer long. Soft, creamy, and crunchy. For just $1 each plus tax exclusively in the McDonald's app. App download and registration required at participating McDonald's in Canada.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Hurry in for hot summer savings at Wolf GMC Buick. Take advantage of 0% purchase financing for up to 72 months on select new 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 pickups. 0% purchase financing for 36 months on select new 2026 Sierra 2500 Denali and Denali Ultimate models. Plus, huge cash savings on GMC Sierra heavy-duty trucks. And ask about the $1,000 truck trade-in bonus and low-rate lease offers. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Alberta, this one's for you. Around here, trust takes a few winters. It's why players have known Jackpot City since 1998. Home to hundreds of exciting casino games, live dealer action, and new adventures waiting to be discovered. Jackpot City, nothing beats the original. Please play responsibly, 18 years or older, Alberta only.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
And Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. They're available anytime at wolfgmcbuick.com. We're taking over a little bit of the frenzies area here. We're talking football, NFL, drafts. They're on the way. We're like 2 weeks away from the Hall of Fame game. So I'm gonna riddle you with questions over the next 5 minutes about fantasy football. So if you're drafting and Allen and Lamar Jackson are off the books, who's your number 3 guy at quarterback?
Jalen Hurts.
No, it isn't.
I think it probably would.
Probably is. They still have the tush push.
Yep.
He's a good rusher.
You don't like May in New England?
He's not good enough on his legs. Not consistent enough on his legs.
What about Burrow, your man?
Crazy cannon through the air, but again, it's just like he doesn't have the legs.
And a little bit of, like now it's a thing where it's just every season, will he get hurt?
What Daniels, Williams? Are you saying?
Jaden Daniels. I think
I would take Jaden actually over.
Oh,
Jalen
so
Hurts.
wait a minute.
I think I would still take Jalen over Jaden because Jaden Daniels did have a bad year last year, and he's coming off an injury to his leg.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. I just love this is the other thing that factors in a little bit more for me. I don't know how other people feel about this, but I think Jaden Daniels plays a prettier game of football. And so if I have some vested interest for a guy who's not on my team as my fantasy quarterback and their style of play is something that I like more,
right?
I'm going to use that as a tiebreaker on occasion.
Daniels is your third, and you like the loser, Hurts.
For fantasy purposes, yeah.
Right, okay.
And I think most people would take Hurts as well.
Okay. Running back, is there a dominant guy, or is it just
Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson?
CMC still.
CMC still, even though he still has the same question marks. Bijan's probably going 1 this year because Jahmyr Gibbs isn't sharing the backfield anymore. So he's going to be more of a bell cow.
Is McCaffrey still around, or is he done now? You just give up on it.
McCaffrey is very much still around.
He'd be, I think, the third guy behind Bijan and Jahmyr. And then I think there's Ashton Genty, I think will still find himself in there just based on his talent, but tough situation in Vegas. And then I think the next tier down where it's they're still going to have early round value is going to be Saquon and Derrick Henry.
What about Jonathan Taylor?
JT actually, that's
for sure.
Point,
He's
he
jump him up a
RB1
couple tiers. Yeah, jump him up
for
a couple
the first
tiers.
6 weeks last year.
Yep.
And Derrick Henry, is he done?
Well, that's what I was just saying. Him and Saquon, I think, are going to be in a tier where it's still high first or high round value, but at some it looks like it was falling off a little bit for Saquon.
Right.
And
Amarian Hampton will probably still get a lot of play with the Chargers, especially with Mike McDaniel coming in to call plays now.
Yeah, and wide receiver, it's Aguilar still, right? He's the top guy.
No, you're looking at probably Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, even though he didn't have a great year last year. That's again once the exception, not the norm.
CeeDee Lamb will be in there.
CeeDee Lamb will still be in there. I remember when I had my first round auto drafted for me, I was pretty upset when I saw CeeDee Lamb was my selection because he was not good.
Oh, he's so talented though. Also, just running backs really quickly. Jeremiah Love in Arizona is going to get. He's going to get picked high though.
Yeah, he is, but they have a tough O-line. And then Devon Achane, they're still going to be believers for him with the Dolphins.
Imagine being held hostage by Jacoby Brissett as a franchise. That's a tough spot to be.
Well, they're going to go 3-14 if they don't get this Jacoby Brissett thing figured out, or they're going to go 3-14 and have this Jacoby Brissett thing figured out. You know what I mean?
You could get him to 6 wins, baby.
Triple C in a truck. Aguilar was only good when he was catching babies. Did you ever see that video?
No.
There was a fire. There was a fire, and this guy, caught a baby, and Aguilar had just dropped a ball like the week before for the Eagles. And the guy is explaining to the television reporter, and he goes, I caught the baby, and then he looks at the camera and he goes, unlike Aguilar. It was legend stuff, man.
For a guy who was not very good, the fact he had a 10-year career, credit to him, man.
Yeah. Well, I always Eagles fan, so I liked him because I always cheer for the Eagles.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, they're my team.
It's called good fandom.
I cheered for Roman Gabriel, so it's going to be a little bit hard to give it up.
Also, another wide receiver that it's obviously going to be good, Drake London. He was unreal last year.
Great player.
So fast.
Two bad quarterbacks in Atlanta, though.
Yeah, Tua or
Michael Penix. I'm not that out on Michael Penix just because he was so good at Washington.
He was just so injured all the time.
Yeah, and he was so injured then too. He tore both ACLs in college.
If you had to pick one quarterback who wasn't a starter last year and maybe he wasn't even drafted until this year, who's going to take the NFL by storm, because these guys do. Remember Brady. Who's the guy that's going to, you go, okay, maybe not like this instant, like game one, but sometime in the next 12 months, he's going to announce his presence with authority, a la Nuke Lelouch.
Carson Beck.
I actually think it might be Malik Willis just because the standard, the expectations are so low for what that Miami team is going to be.
Yeah, it's definitely Malik Willis. I mean, again, the standards and expectations for the Dolphins are incredibly low this year because they are a bad team.
No.
And they are nowhere close to what the Packers were last year. For Malik Willis, in a vacuum, was a much better quarterback than Jordan Love was for the Packers last year.
Interesting.
So maybe he's out of his funk. Maybe he's back.
Well, Boreal Bernie says, go Roman Gabriel and Deacon Jones and Merlin Olsen and all those old guys. The Rams were something else back. Deacon Jones was a freak of nature, and so was Merlin. Merlin ended up going into acting, and he was on, I think, Little House on the Prairie or something like that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. No, it's true. You
learn something new every day.
Well, life goes on. I can't remember who Ellard was the wideout the decade, the generation afterwards, but I can't remember the Rams receivers during that era. I think John Hadel also played quarterback for them.
This is a different thing, but it is related to football. Forget what it was. This must have been, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago now, when I guess it would have been Aaron Jones on the Vikings, or no, who was the Vikings running back? It doesn't matter. Anyways, rushed for a bunch of yards in a game, and we're all like, oh my God. And it was, first guy since Ahmad Rashad to rush. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, wait, hold on. Ahmad Rashad from The Last Dance, the reporter, was a Vikings running back and was good.
No, I'll tell you.
As was everyone else in the sports world shocked. Donovan Mitchell.
I got a funny Monday Night Football thing I can tell you.
Sure.
So I don't remember his original name, but he was a wide receiver, and he was with the Minnesota Vikings, I believe, at the time. And Jimmy Johnson was a wide receiver with the Minnesota Vikings. He said, I have changed my name. I am now Ahmad Rashad. Mm. And the next game they played on Monday Night Football, he made a great catch. And Howard Cosell, in his Howard Cosell way, he said, that's the best catch Vikings fans have seen since the days of Jimmy Johnson. because it was the same guy. It was very funny.
Same
not
dude.
not now, not the way I'm explaining it, but at the time it was quite funny. And he ended up marrying the wife on the Cosby Show, Felicia Rashad. It's all coming together now. All my elements of entertainment and stuff that was worthless that I learned in the 70s and 80s.
He has been married a bunch of times.
Well, look, he's a football player, right?
Yeah. Felicia Rashad. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He was, all right. He was married from 69 to 70. And then to Matilda Johnson from 76 to 79. And then Felicia Rashad from 85 to 2001.
Yeah.
Then he got married to Sale Johnson in 2007. And they were together until 2013. And now he's on his 5th wife.
Right.
They got married in 2016. Ana Luz Rodriguez.
Yeah. And if you talk to him, none of it's his fault.
not a single time.
Oh, right. Yeah. Boreal Bernie and Jack or Jim Youngblood. I can't recall the other guy. Running backs. One of the Youngbloods, he was the dad of JT Snow, who ended up being a first baseman with the San Francisco Giants for years. This is what happens when you get old. Your brain doesn't remember where your car is, but you can remember the most useless information, as I'm showing you now. Al, do you not think the Oilers need some size? They're worrisome, tiny, timid. Doug, I don't see a need for that. They play. I think that people are, they got to protect Leon. You know who doesn't need protection is Leon. Leon's filthy. I got news for you. Leon does some bad things on the ice with his stick, and he doesn't need protection. He doesn't. And Vasily Podkolzin is he's a 6'1", 190. That's what he's listed at. But he's a solid player. He can hit people and hurt them. And I understand Savoy is small and Nuge is small, but Hyman is aggressive. And if he can stay healthy, he's effective. McDavid has a little filthy in him too, just so you know. And then you've got guys like Colton Dock and Trent Frederick. And those guys, they're physical. They showed it last year when they played together on a line. I'm not overly worried about that. I would be more worried if they were big and slow, which they're not. Podkolzin I wrote an article about him today, and he's fast as lightning. He's really good. He's 88th percentile or something like that. He can scoot, and he can score too. He had 17 5-on-5 goals last year, and he shot the puck a lot. And he blocked shots. I wrote in my article today, I think Mike Babcock's going to love him. I read somewhere where people are like, I'm a little worried about Podkolzin. Don't worry about Podkolzin. He's a pretty complete player. He's got a wide range of skills compared to other Edmonton Oilers wingers. I think he might eat some lunches. 17 goals at 5-on-5 last year. Barely got on the power play. I think it was like 30 minutes. He had one goal. They're going to have to give some of these aging veterans a rest. And Podkolzin is in an ideal slot to pick up some of those minutes. And last year on the PK, he wasn't great, but the year before he was brilliant. Podkolzin, he's our guy. Big year coming up, I'm predicting, for Vasily Podkolzin. Okay, on the way, Kevin McCurdy's going to join us. We're going to talk about the Edmonton Oilers and what happens in the next 10 years. Do they win a Stanley in the next 10 years? They did in the last 10. We'll talk about that and fall and what is going to come and whether or not the Oilers are going to make any major moves here before training camp. That's all straight ahead. We have Declinations at 1:40 doing a little round ball as well on Declinations. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Elks Nation. For the best double E coverage online, visit elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more. Tons of in-depth in-game analysis. elksnation.ca. Scores from around the majors currently. Pirates lead the Yankees 3-0 in at the bottom of the 7th. Red Sox up on the Orioles 6-2. Brewers lead the Mets 3-1, and the Giants and Royals tied 0-0 at the end of the 4th. Toronto Blue Jays will be in action against the Tampa Bay Rays at 5:07. It will be Fisher on the mound for the Jays, and you can hear that one on Sports 1440 AM dial only following the conclusion of the Jason Gregor Show. News from around the sporting world is Jason Robertson has signed a one-year, $12 million deal with the Dallas Stars. General Manager Jim Neal coming out in a statement saying, "We hope that he retires here someday." Other news from around the sporting world in the CFL is Canadian wide receiver Alfred has returned to the Stampeders following an NFL stint with New Orleans Saints. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back, leadingedgephysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairie's Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Krueger for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
The Bricks 55th Birthday Bash continues with big savings store-wide. Save on furniture, mattresses, appliances, and electronics, plus take 55 months to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses, or 36 months on appliances and electronics on approved credit. Find up to 30% off bedroom packages, up to 40% off select mattresses, and don't forget, you could be one of 275 winners with over $155,000 in prizes to be won. Hurry in, the Birthday Bash ends July 29 at the Brick. Saving you more.
Legendary is here with BetMGM Casino. Download now to check out over 4,000 casino games, including exclusive slots like Survivor and hundreds of live dealer games. Unlock Vegas magic and sign up for the BetMGM app. See BetMGM.com for terms. 18 plus, Alberta only. Please play responsibly. Subject to eligibility requirements.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with the Alberta iGaming Corporation. Standard message and data rates may apply.
Hello, Edmonton. Did you know the Subaru Forester has earned an IIHS Top Safety Pick Award or higher for 20 years running? With advanced eyesight driver assist technology, 360-degree surround view monitor, driver-focused technology, and of course, the legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, all working together. And it's available as a hybrid, delivering fuel efficiency as low as 6.8 liters per 100 kilometers. Visit your nearest Subaru dealer and test drive the Subaru Forester today. Welcome to Uncommon.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Hurry in for hot summer savings, including 0% purchase financing on select models. 0%. Details at wolfgmcbuick.com. Do we have an update on LeBron? Do we know where he's going? He's leaning somewhere? Anything?
We have no update.
No.
Sorry.
Are you eating a Score bar?
I am.
Those are so good.
Yeah, they are.
They melt in your mouth, though. Tell us a little bit about the Score bar.
Well, hold on. It's not just a score bar. It's the score minis, which I actually think are the superior way to eat a score bar.
I've never eaten those before. What you don't get the gook in your hands? Is that what happens or what?
It's like tobacco
smaller.
for kids.
So it's for
pretty,
little kids.
So it's pretty good.
But it's the same recipe.
Yes, it's the exact same, and they're just
It's just
smaller
bite
bars.
size.
Yeah. Have you had a Score Blizzard?
Yeah, so I've had.
So good.
What are these
Is
questions?
it-
I've
yeah,
had
like,
Score
who do you
flavored
think
everything.
you're talking to right now?
Score. So good. They spell it different, right? It's not SCORE.
Did you find out about Score today?
No, but I found a new way to irritate both of you.
Anyways, we have Kevin.
Okay, it's time for our headliner of the day, brought to you by Faber. A debt holding you back? Let Faber's licensed insolvency trustees help you tackle your debt. Book your free consultation at faber.ca or call 1-877-944-1177. That's 877-944-1177. We are now joined by Kevin McCurdy. Kevin, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you doing this week, Alan?
Good. I badly want a score bar right now, but I have to wait until the show's over. I decided to ask you a new question because, this is Death Valley days right now as far as the Oilers News is concerned.
Is the question if I decide to stand up a chatbot for emergency use in case it gets the shows on Wednesday?
There you go. Good idea, right?
Right.
No, I was going to ask you about the Jonathan Willis wrote a book, and it's about the Carolina Hurricanes and how they approach things. And it got me thinking. He's going to be on the show. I think next week. We're working out a time and all of that stuff for John to come on and talk about the book. But it got me thinking about what the next 10 years might look like in Edmonton. The last 10 years, they could have had analytics plus McDavid plus Draisaitl plus some good coaches plus a great general manager, but they didn't get all of those things. They had Dello in the building and they let him go. But
wasn't he gone in 2014? Wasn't he there for 1 year for
No,
the
he was in fact he was here at least for year one of Chiarelli, which would have been 15-16. Yeah. So but they had him in the building and they let him go. And so my thought is, and I'm really excited to read John's book because it'll give us a little insight into how they did it in Carolina, in Raleigh, with Eric Tulsky and that gang. But the one recommendation I think that should be made to Daryl Cates is that, the world is changing and, you've got your GM in Stan Bowman and you've got a really good analytics guy and Michael Parcati and his staff. So, you can use it more today. But as time goes on, I think the next 10 years, the Oilers absolutely have to, in a more material way, not give up scouting, but join the group of teams that are having success in making bets on players that involved tools that are analytical.
100%. Big data is here and it's here to stay, and the investments these teams are making in data and enterprise infrastructure to support that data are pretty insane, to be honest with you. But to your point, like even the Canes, they're an analytics focused team, but they still have a heavy scouting crew. Like they had Dennis King last year, and they had, notably a few others in their pro scouting group. And I think there is always a place for the eye test, because even somebody like me who heavily favors analytics to tell the story, it doesn't tell the whole story. There's nuance there. There's things that analytics just don't account for, like injuries or play. You can deal with compensation and teammates to a degree, but you can't really understand that unless you watch it. So there's a hybrid of finding the right people that have the right eye to watch the sport and are geared towards finding players that are going to work within their systems. But there's also the analytics component where you find those guys who are really diamonds in the rough who wouldn't stand out any other way except for their delivered results, which is really what analytics are.
Yeah, and Carolina, Cody Nicolette, who used to be on the Lowdown, he's one of the pro scouts that they have. They do a really good job, of all of it. But I want people to understand, we're not saying the Oilers don't do any of it, but there are signs. Every team makes mistakes, but a sign, an example of analytics taking a powder on a decision might be like the Trent Frederick contract, right? That's a contract that is very long for a third line winger. And we've known for some time, based on either logic, reason, or analytics, that's an inefficient contract. And I think that one thing we can do when we look at the Carolina Hurricanes roster that won the Stanley Cup and look for, baggage or players who weren't, earning their money, it's a very small amount compared to other NHL teams, including the Oilers. And that's the optimal, right? You don't want any hangers on. You don't want anybody who's not fulfilling a role. And I know that, Stan Bowman, he inherited the Darnell Nurse contract, for instance, and he offloaded it. That's an example of analytics. So we're not pounding away at the Oilers saying they don't know what they're doing, but any move that is made that isn't, efficient costs them opportunity, right?
100%. And that's a multiplicative issue, right? Like, if it costs you $20 now and $30 later, and the additive costs of those outcomes are detrimental in the long term. Like, you look at Darnell Nurse's cap hit, for example, as the obvious one in the middle of the room that we've talked about already. How many different changes over the term of that contract could the Oilers have made with that money?
Yeah.
And the flip side of that argument is, would they have used that money efficiently if it was available to them at any point? How do we know that it's going to be used efficiently now? We don't. So there are trade-offs. It's trading a known quantity to an extent for an unknown quantity, and efficiency needs to be the goal, and specifically cap efficiency. Even with the cap skyrocketing, if you're efficient with your cap to the point that you can afford to trade for another, let's say Matthias Ekholm, for example, or a Zach Hyman, you find that diamond in the rough on a really decent contract, and you have the cap space to pull it off, versus having to nickel and dime teams at the trade deadline to try and make. And again, you're comparing an era where the cap was relatively flat, to an era where we're going to see, in all likelihood, explosive growth in the cap overall. So things are going to be different, but they're also going to be the same. That doesn't mean you get to be inefficient or disrespectful to the cap space that you have, because other teams are going to seize the opportunity to use data to find those efficiencies and continue to improve year over year. And the Oilers need to make sure they're right in the middle of the pack.
Do you feel like, when I look at this team right now, I would like a whole room now dedicated to an offer sheet next summer, because there are years and years of not getting first round picks. Difference makers happen in the first round or by fluke, and you can never guess what the fluke is going to be. It just happens. You trade for Patrick Maroon and you get lucky. It's impossible to predict those things. They occur. Scouting's a part of it, but luck is a part of it too. So in terms of procurement next summer, you'd like to get a 23-year-old or 22-year-old guy who can be a plug and play, and they've got a second round pick. So that's like 4 point something or other in an offer sheet, and maybe gets accepted. But I still think there's, reason to believe that might be one of the key moves that they make this coming up summer in terms of their future. And that's getting a young player who can be added to the group, to the Savoys and the Podkolsons and hopefully the Icowards.
Yeah, I would say that that's definitely a reasonable option. I said when the Broberg and Holloway offer sheets went down that was going to fundamentally shift how the league interacted with each other from a management and the GM perspective. And I think that that's going to continue to be true. Like, we saw a record offer sheet earlier this year for Leo Carlsson. So like, I think that that's going to continue. And I think the days of the GMs being nice to each other are gone, and they're going to play dirty and ugly in order to make their teams better. I mean, Edmonton blocking Vegas blocking Bruce Cassidy is just an example of taking every possible edge that you can get. It's ruthless, Don't get me wrong. It's not fun as a fan to be on the receiving end of that. And we know that better than most with Broberg and Holloway and most recently Bruce Cassidy. But I think that you're going to see offer sheets become a real norm in this industry, to the point that maybe even agents start going and seeking them proactively. And I think that that's what Darren Ferris really started with Hall, or with Broberg specifically. But I think that mechanism, assuming it doesn't get stamped out a little bit in the CBA somehow, is going to be used to make teams better and to hurt other teams intentionally, like it was used in this most recent case.
Kevin McCurdy joining us on Sports 1440, Lowdown with Lowetide. I wanted, you mentioned the offer sheet, and I've seen people recently really hammering Stan Bowman for the not accepting the contracts, and specifically Dylan Holloway. And I do have time for that. I think that, looking back and maybe even looking right at it, retaining Holloway might have been a good idea. Broberg obviously more expensive, and they were pretty solid at left defense at the time. Having said all of that, I still have a hard time giving Bowman the bulk of the blame for that. Ken Holland slow played Philip Broberg, created a situation where Broberg was unhappy. December of the year before he signed the offer sheet, he asked for a trade. And I think that the Oilers were slow to react, and the impact of that obviously is great, and it still is. But if we blame Bowman completely, I think we're kind of letting Ken Holland and Jeff Jackson off the hook. Is that fair?
I'm going to take the alternative tack to that and say that Stan Bowman had almost nothing to do with that decision, and place the blame for that squarely on Ken Holland. And then with a sub, you could add a minor to Jeff Jackson there as well. But I think the real blame lies with Ken Holland. And to be completely fair, they're two discrete situations. Broberg was gone. He wanted out. You don't keep players that want out. He asked for a trade. That's when you go and trade him. And, that's a hard situation to be in, because Broberg really hadn't played that well up to that point. He got beat out at camp by Vinny Desharnais. When we can argue about the finer points of that, but the reality is that Vinny was a right-handed defenseman, and we had a need for a right-handed defenseman, and he played well in camp and earned his spot, and frankly was really quite good on the penalty kill and in the defensive zone. He single-handedly shut down games to close out the final minutes. Broberg went back to the AHL after he asked for a trade. Now, the biggest issue that I have with Ken Holland's handling of that entire situation is he let Philip Broberg languish in the press box for like 2 months. Instead of sending him down to the AHL immediately and getting him 23 minutes a night of ice time and using a development opportunity, he further soured an already fractured relationship to the point that he asked for a trade, and then they didn't honor that, and then they were, frankly surprised that an offer sheet showed up. Darren Ferris is one of the most ruthless agents in the league. I respect the heck out of it. He is a guy that will fight for his players tooth and nail. He does it all over the league, and they should not have been surprised by that move. That being said, Broberg being gone was essentially a foregone conclusion, and just about anybody could have seen that coming. Whatever the mechanism of that is kind of irrelevant. Holloway, on the other hand, is an entirely separate issue. That was an insurance policy that they put in to make sure that the Oilers wouldn't have enough cap space to keep both of them. And I understand why the Oilers didn't match. At a very high level, Holloway's contract, if Holloway signs that offer sheet and then the Oilers come and match it, the concern is, how does the locker room perceive that? You're in a team that's cap crunched, trying to win now, and you're keeping a guy that said, screw you guys, I'm going to go to another team that's going to play me more. And and pay me more. And I understand why they didn't match that from a pure room dynamics perspective, but it was still the wrong call. And I think a few of us felt that at the time too. That's something they just got to work past. He just had to actually put up the numbers when you keep him. If he had the season that he had in St. Louis that year, in Edmonton, then nobody bats an eyelash, right? The big guys are fine with it in that case, even if they're, maybe a little choked that they are using a little extra cap on this guy, but the results get paid for. So, at the end of the day, that's not the end of the world. I really implore people to consider them as two unique, separate situations because they are discreetly different from each other for a number of reasons.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it because and in a lot of ways, replacing Broberg was easier because they had depth at that position, and Holloway could play center and wing, and he was young and he was fast. And they picked up Podkolzin, wonderful move. But if they had both Holloway and Podkolzin, it would be far easier to move forward. Correct?
Would we need a top 6 winger right now if Holloway was still around? I don't know that we would, to be honest with you. I think Holloway was very much shaping up to be that guy. He was just in the realization of the development phase of his play, and we kind of lost him at the wrong moment. But I think as long as you come to the conclusion that Broberg was gone regardless, you can look at Holloway through his own lens and make your own determinations from that.
What do you think about the Dallas contract? 1 year, $12 million, going straight to free agency. There's some danger here, but then again, maybe they can sign him long-term easier on January 1.
Maybe. I think that's a really risky play from Nil, to be honest with you. Robertson's an interesting one. I don't really understand what his goal is here, and don't have any inside sources, so I'm just speculating. But he's putting his team in a tough position by making the contract asks that he is, because they just frankly don't have the money, and that is, it's different from the Anaheim situation where they had all kinds of money to match that offer sheet, but in the case of Dallas, they're pretty hamstrung cap wise, and I think they continue to be for a little bit yet. So if you want, there's two positions that Robertson can take, and he's sort of taking the third one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he could say, I want the money, trade me. But he was already offered, I believe, a massive contract from Seattle, which he turned down.
Yes.
And, there's reasons for that are kind of outside of the scope of this discussion. Or there's a take less money and stay because that's the money they got. Like, they can't spend more than what's in the piggy bank. So what you're trying to draw blood from a stone here. What are you hoping to accomplish? You're going to make your team weaker because they have to trade someone else or put someone else on season-ending long-term injured reserve or something like that in order to make it work. Like, that's not bound to make you a lot of friends, both on your team and in your management group.
All right. Thanks for this. Appreciate it. Next week, hopefully we have something really new to talk about.
Sounds good. Have a good week, everyone.
All right. There you go. Kevin McCurdy. We appreciate him coming on a Wednesday when there's not a lot of news, but I thought we had some interesting content there. The offer sheet is always an easy one to go to because Kevin, people how are you, man?
I'm
angry
doing well.
and
How are you
upset
doing
and
this week,
choosing
Al?
sides. Speaking of, Gord Oil saying, how can you blame Holland? We'll talk about that next because I think it's fair to at least lay some of the blame at the current Los Angeles Kings general manager's feet. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 on YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
It's Dollar Drink Summer at McDonald's. Sip on a refreshing small fountain drink or a small iced coffee for just $1 each plus tax, all summer long. Only at McDonald's. Excludes flavored and cloud iced coffees. At participating Canadian restaurants. Taxes extra. Prices exclusive.
Ground ball to third. Oh, baby. There's one. There's two. Perfectly done. Runner goes on a fly ball to deep left center field. That is back, and that is very gone. Way back into the bleachers. No, Nando. His 8th home run of the year is a 2-run shot. And the Padres take an 8-3 lead. A mammoth blast in Atlanta.
Algieri hits it well out towards left center. He's the run. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. He is unbelievable.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's 125. This is the Lowdown, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Hot summer savings going on right now at wolfgmcbuick.com. We're talking about Gord Oils. Text to us. Text anytime, 833-401-1440. How can you blame Holland? He had no contract going forward. Knew he wasn't wanted. Jackson was the missing link in all of it. So let's go back to the summer before Broberg signed a offer sheet with the St. Louis Blues. That's the time to make the decision if you're Ken Holland. You sign him, you move him, you do something with Philip Broberg. If you're not convinced he can play in the top 3 pairings left side and you don't like him on the right side, then move him. He has value. But by December, Broberg was so unhappy with the situation, he publicly requested a trade. I remember reading Daniel Nugent-Bowman's article at The Athletic. A very specific, very unhappy player. Now, that's December before the offer sheet. So he's requested a trade, and now they're going to look about and walk about. Holland doesn't do that. Holland, slow plays everything. And in this particular case, he slow played into an offer sheet. And you can say, well, he wasn't employed anyway. He was still employed by the Edmonton Oilers. It was still his job, his responsibility. And by the time the offer sheet was signed, he was gone. But that doesn't change anything. When the decision was made by the player to request a trade, at the very least, he should have traded him, because then you take that away and you get some value back. And they got some value back, but it's futures. And futures for the Oilers right now doesn't have a huge, impact. Not like you would get another, say, a right winger or a center. And so, yes, Ken Holland, I'm not saying it's 100% Ken Holland's, but the ball was dropped initially by Holland and his management team. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now, you move forward, Jeff Jackson. Obviously, they're not anticipating an offer sheet, or at least not anticipating, matching an offer sheet. Oblivious is the best way to put it. So they signed some guys who didn't work out, but at the time, I and a lot of other people thought they were doing good business. And then later in the summer comes the offer sheet. And at the end of it, Stan Bowman has to make a quick decision. He doesn't know the team that well. It's a tough spot. Absolutely. So I think that some blame goes to Bowman, some to Jackson, but the majority for me goes to Ken Holland. When you protect an asset, that's your job as the general manager of a team. Broberg wants to go. You trade him. And then everything else falls into place. And the fact that they didn't left them vulnerable, and I hate the phrase, the Blues are playing chess and the Oilers are playing checkers, but in this case it applies. And, you can get as mad as hell as you want about my take on it, and you can disagree absolutely, but I believe I'm right. I liked Ken Holland as a general manager. He came as close as anybody since Glenn Sather as GM of winning a Stanley Cup. I think that he did a lot of good things. I would give him a passing grade as general manager. But he lost out to an innovative organization because he did not anticipate it. And I don't think he took the trade request terribly seriously. I think he was dealing with the world he knew, which is now gone with what's happened in Anaheim. But it was going at the time when the offer sheet was accepted by Broberg and Holloway. There's nothing worse, in any business, in any walk of life, in any job, that, they used to call it back in the old days, you got caught with your pants down. We don't do that anymore because that's not a phrase you would use, but that's what we used to say. We also said a lot of other things that we shouldn't have said, but that's one of them. And so Ken Holland, for me, was the most responsible manager in the fiasco that was the Broberg-Holloway offer sheet. I think you can criticize Bowman for not matching on Holloway. That's fair. But the genesis of it began with Ken Holland. That was one of the worst takes on Holloway. The Oilers offered him 3-year, $3 million contract. I would have taken that either no room to grow for 3 years. Don't blame him for taking the offer sheet. Northside Jason. The Oilers were still acting like the world wasn't changing around them. The footing was changing, and they didn't recognize it. And they were ideal for an offer sheet because both guys were eligible. If you trade Broberg at the deadline for something you can use, you're still farther ahead, and it's easier to match one offer sheet. They probably don't even do it because you're not as vulnerable. If Holland was GM, Armstrong wouldn't have done the offer sheets due to their friendship from Robbie. But that's not like you. The Oilers decided to move on from Ken Holland. That's a separate issue. And Ken Holland was still employed by the team. And I would never, ever suggest that Ken Holland wasn't doing his best. But in this particular case, his best wasn't good enough. Surely you can agree with that. This was a bad scene. Jackson spent the money while Broberg was still an Oiler. Yes, he did. I think there was no recognition that the Oilers were vulnerable, or less likely, they simply had accepted their fate. I don't necessarily think, I don't believe that. Steve from Drumheller, it was terrible to not sign Broberg before Arvidsson or Skinner and Perry. Pro made Nurse way better. These managers accepted big pay. Had to see this coming. That was awful. Well, I don't think Broberg was coming back. Broberg had requested a trade. and it's within his right. He can go to Sweden and play if he wants. I don't think Broberg was coming back. That relationship had like there was a divide there. You can go and read the articles of the time. It was early December of what would have been, what year did he sign the offer sheet? 24? 23, 24. So December of 2023, just look it up. December 2023, Broberg requests trade Daniel Nugent-Bowman in the Athletic, and it'll just pop up and you can read about it. And in there, if you read what the player said, this was fait accompli. It was done. The die was cast. We need to bring back some old-timey phrases. I was cast, go with your pants down. Maybe not that one.
What, the cool young slang isn't good enough for you anymore?
Well, I'm just saying, what's old is new again. You know what I noticed?
I guess so.
You will notice it as you get older too, is the styles are coming back. Like hair, flares, all that stuff is coming back.
Let's see, what is it now that's really back? The 80s? Or was that back when I was younger?
I don't know.
Anyways, I'm not looking forward to when the early 2010 style comes back and everyone's got the Justin Bieber haircut.
Yeah.
Because I'll still be making fun of the people with the haircut.
No.
Telling them it's dumb.
You know what I learned? The first occurrence I experienced of stuff being brought back was the movie American Graffiti, which was like 74.
Yep.
Everybody went mad for the 50s music, right? And I already knew it because I listened to Little Richard every day when I was a little kid because my mom loved Little Richard and Roy Orbison and Elvis and all those guys. Elvis was first. But as time goes by, it kind of recycles, right?
Yeah.
And you recognize it from time to time.
You're like, these guys had some motion. Holy crap.
What I'm looking forward to is movies with good dialogue. It's gone now, but it's coming back.
Yeah, it was pretty dark in the mid 2000s there. There's only a couple
dark
guys.
Now.
It's getting better. It's getting better.
I mean,
Project Hail Mary, unfortunately, based on a book. So,
well, it's okay to base stuff on a book. Usually a book is,
I'm not saying that like, oh, unfortunately it was based on a book. It's just like there's already some text there for dialogue.
Oh, I see what you mean.
That's how people talk. I know there's a lot of concerns with like the Odyssey. The things that the people complain about with the Odyssey is dumb. They're like, oh, but they used the word dad.
But
like whatever,
man. I read somewhere where, is it Gawk or Grok?
Grok
is going to make the movie accurately. Well, what the hell?
Yeah, but like that's not fun.
What does that mean? That's how many thousands of years is that?
3,000.
And how are you going to like in anything like this? There's a certain amount of
you have to make it for the people of today because listen.
Well, there's imagination required.
Yeah.
And you can, it's not like, on this day. I mean, come on. I mean.
Oh, sorry, Billy. It was what the cool kids say. Oh. Here's my thing also. Who here remembers reading Shakespeare in high school? Because I'm not that far removed.
No.
Sorry, everybody. Yam time. But like, do you have any idea how hard it is to read Shakespeare at times? Like, you're going, okay, hold on. What? I'm sort of getting this, but you really have to think your way through it. Sometimes it's fine to have things that are smooth brained out a little bit.
Yes. Well, also you've got, like, you should have. What's the longest a movie should be? 2 hours?
Honestly, I don't care. If it's good, then just keep it going forever.
No, I gotta pee.
I agree.
Need to be 2 hours.
No, it depends on the movie. If it's a real, like, you couldn't have made Gone with the Wind in less than 4 hours.
Oh no, but that's an historical one, right? Like,
well, okay, but
shows moved much slower back then. The way the audience now is rapido. You can do it way quicker. You can get a story across way quicker.
Your
now.
favorite movie, The Shawshank Redemption, is longer than 2 hours.
Yeah, but it's
a comedy movie, though, I'll say. Should
yeah,
be capped
comedy
at
movie doesn't
90
need to be
minutes.
Yeah,
comedy movie should be capped at 90
the
minutes.
longest that it can be is whatever that would be, 105. Which
how
is an hour
long
and
is
45 minutes.
how long is When Harry Met Sally? That's the perfect length.
That's about an hour
probably
and
about an
45
hour,
minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's about if you've got that good a movie, which is is it the ultimate rom-com?
It is the grandfather of rom-coms.
May I interest you gentlemen in Annie Hall?
Oh, that's a great one too.
Mm.
Also, Moonstruck. I'm
Okay.
sorry, gorgeous movie. Cher is unbelievable. She is so beautiful in that movie. Oh my God.
When Harry Met Sally is more or less the blueprint for how rom-coms are made now.
Yeah.
Guy meets girl, girl meets guy.
I'll have
They
what she's
don't-
having.
They don't like each other, then they end up liking each other, and then at the end, bing, bang, boom, they fall in love through a series of extraordinary events.
Yeah, and the ending wasn't perfect, but I loved it so much I forgave it.
I like the ending.
Made sense.
It did.
I hate you, Harry. I hate you so much. Come on.
Yeah, except then he's like, well, I love that you get cold when it's 75 degrees out.
Yeah, but anyway, it's all good. I love the movie. Don't get me wrong.
It's a great movie. Great movie. But yeah,
I'm sorry.
length doesn't equal good, but if you're like Oppenheimer, that's a 3-hour movie. I'm sorry. If you try to tell me the story of J. Robert Oppenheimer in an hour and a half, we're clearly going to miss some things. Some important things.
All right. Okay. I was going to ask something, but I don't want to.
You can ask it.
No, I'm not sure where it comes from, and I don't want to end off on a cribbage board somewhere. Okay. On the way, it's Declinations. We're talking round ball. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Say hello to Alberta's home for reeling and dealing. With Play Alberta, you can spin into the excitement of popular slots like Cash Eruption and Desert Fantasy. Experience Alberta exclusive games and get in on the action of live dealer tables with all new elevated stakes. However you prefer to play, the fun is ready when you are. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Cheers. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town. Founded by a former pro motorsports competitor, Evolve Wheels and Tires brings decades of experience in custom wheels, lowering kits, lift kits, and accessories. Visit Evolve Wheels and Tires in West Edmonton, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride, evolve your experience.
Barbecue season. Nothing like a great steak. Which reminds me, Metal Supermarkets has even created custom grill tops for rusted old barbecues. Just one of the many special requests they've received over the years. You'll be amazed what their skilled crew can do. Barbecue grills to grills for classic cars. Sky's the limit. Speaking of sky, that's a lot of smoke up there. And fire in the hole. My steak. So long, sirloin. Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
He knows all about the Expos and Oilers. It's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Hot summer savings going on right now. Why don't we play the hits anymore? We don't play the popular songs. That song was never a hit.
No, never. Not once.
Declan's not responding. He's not playing. It is time for Declinations, brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Next home game, August 1. Lock in your tickets right now. GoElks.com/tickets. They're alive, and they're very, very good. Your Edmonton Elks. And now, Declan Krueger.
Okay. Little NBA chat. How excited are we for this one? Unfortunately, much like with the NHL, it is very much July 22nd in the NBA. There are a couple things we want to talk about. I want to talk about possible LeBron landing destinations. But I'm seeing it now on NBA Live. I wanted to bring it up. The OKC Thunder traded Lou Dort to the Atlanta Hawks. Zach Richaud going back to Dallas in the deal. By the way, is that just this is the thing about Zach Richaud. He was the first overall pick in 2024. Terrible draft. But he is sandwiched in between Ant Edwards, Paulo Banchero, Cade Cunningham, Victor Wembanyama, Cooper Flagg, AJ DeBonsa. He is going to go, and I feel bad for him. Really, I do, because he's horrible. He's awful at basketball. He's probably, I don't even know what his second. He got traded on his rookie deal as the number 1 overall pick. Do you know how bad you have to be for that to happen?
Is he the Jalen Hurts of the NBA?
You got to find a different comparable for bad player. Because the thing about Jalen Hurts,
I've been dissing Jalen Hurts forever. I'm assuming he's the worst.
Jalen Hurts is Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. He's not bad, but I don't think anyone is going to argue that he is a limiter at the most important position on a team that is completely filled out everywhere else.
Based on your description of him, he can barely walk and chew gum at the same time.
Do you think that was fair, Josh? What I just said
that's
about Jalen
totally
Hurts?
fair. He's
right?
a limiter.
And Zach Richaud is
he's not good.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
So is he a part-time player?
There's not really that's
the one redeeming thing he's gonna have in Dallas is maybe you can see the floor. Maybe we let you see the floor for 12 minutes a night.
You're kidding. That bad.
He's not good.
Now he'll probably get 16 or 18, but he's not good.
Was he good on draft day?
It was the weakest NBA draft of my lifetime.
Okay.
2014.
You do mean 2013?
That's the one I mean.
Bennett went first overall. That would be the other one. That's a good shout. It was one of those. We just
need to wait to see who the Victor Oladipo is.
Someone just had to go first in that draft. It ended up being Zach Richaud. But the larger point there, I thought it was a little bit weird for OKC to trade Lou Dort. OKC has some real second apron issues that they need to figure out, and they got a lot of money tied up in J-Dub and Ched and SGA, and they had a lot of team options that you presumed they were going to lean into and give these guys the money, and then you sign them later. So I get they had to move some pieces out. I'm a little surprised it came at the expense of Lou Dort, because one thing with Lou Dort, Lou Dort didn't have tons of offensive upside, but you could run a lineup that was Chet, J-Dub, Lou Dort, Caruso, or Kaysen, or Isaiah Joe and SGA, and kind of have SGA shielded defensively. You can still run some of those guard-heavy lineups where you're going to do it, but you lose a little bit of size on the perimeter and even conceivably on the interior, depending how you want to roll out your small ball formation with Lou Dort. So I was a little surprised he was the one who got moved.
Okay.
Yeah, but also no at the same time. I think it was just sort of a thing that I don't want to say widely accepted or anything like that, but the rumor mill was swirling, and it was, don't be surprised to see Lou Dort moved. And so I wasn't surprised to see that he was. I was surprised to see that he got moved for 3 second-round picks and former first rounder, as he was referred to in the trade tweet, not even first overall, first rounder, Zach Richelet gets traded to the Dallas Mavericks. They have 3 first overall picks on that team now, and Kyrie, Zach Richelet, and Cooper Flagg. Maybe at the end of this year, they'll have 4 because that roster, not great. I'm with you, Deck, in the surrendering of the size and the defense in particular. But if he was going to get traded to anywhere, him going to the Atlanta Hawks makes a lot of sense because they are a very defensive forward team. They don't score a lot. Don't get me wrong, but
like him, Jalen, and Onyeka,
the good luck scoring. You know what I mean? And so
them in Miami might have the first 50 to 42 game in NBA that we've seen in the NBA in a long time.
In the shot clock era. Yeah. Since the 3-point line was introduced. Yeah. I was like, oh, Lou Dort got traded. But when in the trade tweet, when a player is referred to as former first round pick, they are turbo dog water.
Do you ever?
It's a sign.
It's a sign. It's like, oh, well, this is the thing that they have attached to them. Now, granted, the Hawks haven't really done anything in Richet's career that's worthwhile, but not like former rookie of the year or the 20-point per game score. Former first round pick, not even former first overall pick. It's brutal. You feel for the guy because he gets all the heat for being the first round pick or first overall pick that year. And you're like, well, it was him or Alex Sarr, and it's not like Alex Sarr is going gangbusters in Washington either. So, I don't know. It's just they had to clear cap, and I think Lou Dort was the clearest one to get moved out because first of all, he was a big source of controversy for the team, and second of all, he had no offensive upside, whereas lots of other guys on the team, most other guys on the team, do have that two-way ability. He just didn't really.
All right, really quickly, let's talk some Braun and pros and cons because we all sat here and gave 4 different landing spots. So let's start with Cleveland. I believe that was my landing spot.
Yeah.
Big pro there is that I think I think it's the best situation for him basketball wise. He has a legitimate number 1 option scoring the basketball and Donovan Mitchell that can take a lot of pressure off him. And defensively, he's very guarded by Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. The con would be like James Harden and the way they both, he has to get moved. Because the way they both dominate the ball, there's no way they can coexist. The way they both play no defense, there's no way they can coexist. So I think sans James Harden, that's the best basketball fit with him, like I said, because he's shielded defensively by those bigs, and he is a guy who's a better player than him right now, and Donovan Mitchell, who can go score the ball, and he can just be a guy who gets like 20 and 8 a night and doesn't have to work hard defensively. But they do have an anchor there in James Harden in terms of style matchup.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to be able to convince someone to take James Harden, though, is the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he was turbo dog water in the playoffs this year, as he usually is.
Just awful. It's
but
so
sad. He was substantially worse. I think he had more games this playoffs with turnovers than made field goals. For the actual first time, played more games through the entirety of the playoffs with more field goals or turnovers than field goals at the end of the game.
That's not something you want to do.
It's not something you want. Now, it is like a tagline of James Harden and how bad he's been in the playoffs, because I think he went up to like 41 total games in his playoff history of having a game like that. Some ridiculously bad number like that. But he was extra bad. And he's not on a great contract. So there's a lot of convincing that's going to have to be done for someone to take that deal.
Philly, some pros there. I think that is a team that is on the precipice talent-wise and has been for a while, that just needs a guy there who knows how to win. Now, they do have Jaylen Brown, but I think it's also fair to say with how this whole Jaylen Brown thing's gone down, with how his interaction with Jason Tatum and they're kind of like, I think it's fair to say he may not be the leader that they need there, even though he has one. So LeBron brings just a culture and a mindset and a teachability of how to win basketball games that I think Philly really needs. I think the con is LeBron would be the 4th best player on that team. And I don't know how LeBron would fit into that role, because I still think he would dominate the ball the most out of those 4 guys. And I think in dominating the ball, like when you need Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and Jaylen Brown to get all theirs, I think the team wouldn't play to the effectiveness they need to play to maximize their success, which they can do with him there. So I like it as a fit if he can teach this team that's on the precipice how to win, but being the fourth best player on a team is going to be really tough for LeBron to have to kind of stump.
Well, I like it because it's my team, and that's why I picked Philadelphia. But I do acknowledge it'd be tough to golf there all year round.
Yeah. Counterpoint, it's Philly. There's a lot, it is actually a dig at the city of Philly. The fans are tough. And now with what happened last year, there is a greater expectation.
Santa Claus had a bad year.
Santa Claus had a bad year and got booed by Philly fans. Now imagine you have LeBron James, arguably the greatest player to ever lace him up in the history of the NBA. And like he has a string of just awful games. Those Philly fans are not going to be kind. And like, I'm not saying LeBron's a crybaby or anything, but
Jaylen Brown's going to be streaming about him too.
Yeah. And so I think there's a lot of hassle that comes with the city of Philly that maybe he doesn't want to put up with in his last year.
That's fair. By the way, just before we go, Kevin Gosman, Ken Rosenthal, these are the places that he can block a trade to: Cincinnati, Milwaukee, Detroit, New York Mets, the Athletics in Sacramento, the Chicago White Sox, Pittsburgh Pirates, and Seattle Mariners. A little surprised by that, but the Mariners don't need any pitching.
They don't need him.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning into the Lowdown. We will join you again tomorrow between noon and 2. Jason Greger on the way next. Please enjoy your day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. For your next move in the Edmonton or area, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. MLB scores around the league. Pirates and Yankees tied 3-3 in at the top of the 10th. Red Sox and Orioles just finishing up. That is game one of their double header, a makeup from July 21st. Red Sox winning that one 6-3. Mets trail the Brewers, 3-2 in at the bottom of the fifth. Giants up on the Royals by the same score. Nats and Rockies, A's and Diamondbacks, Reds, Mariners all tied at 0-0. And at 5:07, we will see the Toronto Blue Jays in action playing host to the Rays, and it will be Fisher on the bump. In the sporting world, Jason Robertson signing a one-year, $12 million deal to stay with the Dallas Stars. General Manager Jim Nill saying in a statement today that we hope he retires here someday. And in the CFL, Canadian wide receiver Damon Alford signing a deal to return to the Calgary Stampeders after his NFL stint with the New Orleans Saints. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been Sports 1440 Update.
Sports 1440.